Well, I got the Bibury BLT Pro last night and I have been fiddling with it ever since. I wasn't sure what I was going to think of this multi-tool, seeing as it's my first real, I don't know if I like the word knockoff tool, but it's not a big brand name that I'm used to, like a Leatherman or a SOG or something like that. So I was really reluctant to buy it. It was about $40, just shy with tax. I think it was like $39, something like that. And I have to say, I didn't have high expectations. I really was concerned that this was just going to be a piece of junk that didn't really do anything for me. But when I got it, I was so surprised with the packaging. Then I took it out of the packaging and got it in my hand, and man, this thing is a good size. It's not huge, but it is a very nice size for a full, real, proper multi-tool. I'd recently had a Leatherman Wave that was just a little bit disappointing. It wasn't as strong as I thought it would be. It wasn't as tough as I thought it would be. And I returned it. I was shocked. I thought I was going to keep it forever. I thought it was going to be another one of those generational keep forever multi-tools like my Leatherman Mutt, and it just isn't. It wasn't. I didn't love it as much as I thought I would. So I was a little iffy buying this Bibury, and I have to say, I am really glad I took the leap of faith and picked it up and want to talk about it for a few minutes. First of all, it feels good in the hand. I am really impressed with it. It is not small, it is not meek. It is a full-size multi-tool. I mean, this is good size and it feels really good. I think the best way to go over this is going to be to jump in and talk about the cons first, because there are a handful, and then the pros, and then I'll just kind of talk about it as a whole in a second. But first of all, when I got it last night, I was super excited about T-shank adapter. I think it's one of the more exciting features of this, but it was hard to open the very first time. I seriously struggled. Now it's a piece of cake. Now it's no problem at all. But last night I had to get I had to get out another multi-tool to open this. Use a little screwdriver on my SOG power pint to get behind here and push this open. But now that it's been opened a few times, it's pretty easy to open. No problems at all. I really like this file, but we'll get more into that later. But the T-shank adapter, hard to open the first time. After that, it was great. Probably my biggest gripe is I think multi-tools need to be one-handed to open, to get to the pliers. It's just my personal feeling. I know not everybody agrees, but it really bugs me when you can't. And being closed like this, I can't force my thumb into here or use my pinky on the back to crack this open. And then even if I could drag it across my jeans, which I can't, to crack it open like this, it's still a lot of work to get this open and then start to flick it open. And I keep hitting the bush, but you can see finally got it open halfway. This is not easy to open one-handed, and I don't even know if I ever will be able to open it one-handed. It's probably, up to this moment, my biggest single gripe about this tool. Being a multi-tool, you keep it in your pocket or on your waist or in a tool bag, but you're probably in the middle of doing something when you realize you need it. I don't want to need a second hand. I pick up a pair of pliers. I don't need a second hand to pick up a pair of pliers or a screwdriver or anything like that. So it really is irksome to me that I need two hands to open this. The next thing is there's no magnet in the bottom of this screwdriver. Here, let's just get straight to this tool. This and the rest of the bits come with a small detent in here that holds it in the bit hole. This detent holds the bit in. But if you grab another bit that doesn't have a detent and you pop it in, first of all, this is too deep, so the regular standard 1/4 inch bit just disappears almost all the way in there, and then it just falls right out. So There's no magnet in the bottom, and I've seen a few other videos talk about the fact that you could put a magnet in the bottom here and generic bits stay in there. And on top of that, maybe if it was a little bit of a thicker magnet, well, maybe it would push the bit out just a little bit also, but then I don't know if it would push these detented bits out too far. But the point is I just wish they would have come with the magnet in the first place. It's probably a 1 penny item, and I wish it would have come with it. My next big gripe with this is, and I'll leave the screwdriver open, maybe it'll make it easier to see, but when this is closed, you can very easily move the handle back and forth. There's too much movement in here, too much play. When the pliers are open and the tool's fully open, there's no play, or almost no play, and that's fine. But being closed, I don't know why it's like that, and I haven't really compared it to other big multi-tools, but I was just surprised that there was so much play in the bottom here. Which brings me to my next complaint, or next negative, or on my list I call it pros and cons. So the next con is this. Pressing this button right here to release the tool to be able to close needs to be raised up just a little bit. It's flush with the rest of the tool here. You can see along here, this button is flush with this back here. So it's hard to know when you're pressing the button, and especially if you're wearing gloves, it would be a problem. So the Leatherman Wave had it raised, and I thought that was fantastic, and now I'm missing that as a feature. Last negative I'll talk about in this video is this. This T-shank adapter is great, but it's a little bit loose. You can see the file is a little loose, moving it back and forth, side to side less, but up and down a bunch. And when you put the saw blades in, it's much worse because the saw blades are thinner than this file. So I'm not sure why it's like that. I mean, I understand the logic of how and why, but I wish it wasn't that way. I wish it was much tighter in there. Now, on to the pros. Man, this thing feels good in the hand. It is big, it is beefy and bulky. I don't have large hands. I don't have small hands, but I don't have big bare hands, and this feels just fabulous in my hands. The pliers look good, they feel good, they look like they could do some real work. I really like the way they look. They're not just flat across the side and make an arrow. They have these big bumps here, which I believe are supposed to make this whole area stronger. And I've broken pliers before, so I'm happy to see that that's there. Hopefully I won't be able to break these doing some work. The next thing is on the outside, I forgot to mention, and I didn't write this down, but there's no way to tell which blade is which. So this is the serrated blade, which I'm not a big fan of serrated blades. I could live without it. And this is the straight blade, but on the Leatherman, there were bumps on the back of the serrated blade here, so you would know that it was the serrated blade. This one doesn't have that. I wish it would. It would be a nice little feature. But this knife, I wanted to say, is so ridiculously sharp. I don't know if I've ever gotten a knife straight out of the package being as sharp as this is. I am so impressed with that. I haven't taken a close look at the blade, but it was really, really impressively sharp. One thing people complain about is, oh no, I want pliers that are spring-loaded, and I've never liked a pair of pliers that were spring-loaded. They don't do it for me. It doesn't make sense. I want pliers that I have full control over, and I like that these are loose from the get-go. They just open and close freely, more or less. They're still new. They'll get worked in, but they still open and close freely, and I really, really like that. While this is open, we'll jump to, and I don't have these in any special order, but we'll jump to the bottle opener. The bottle opener on the Leatherman Wave was defective in my opinion. I couldn't get the lip right here under a beer cap, and I couldn't easily open a beer bottle with it. And I tried this and it works great, no problems at all. So the Wave was defective, the bottle opener, in my opinion. I don't need a can opener, I need a bottle opener, and this one works. This might be a silly one that people aren't that into, but I will say, not that I've ever used it, but you can actually read the ruler on the bottom, or on the handle here. I'm not sure if you're able to see that very well, but trust me, you can read it in regular light. Maybe one of the more important things is that you can open this knife one-handed. when I first got it, it was a little stiff and I was a little nervous, but I'm happy to report it is easy to open one-handed now. The bits that come with the tool include, and I was so happy to see this, well, it's a little hard to get them out of here. It's kind of a weird setup, but I'm happy to say that these bits include security bits that will that work on Leatherman tool, which I was kind of surprised and think maybe that's a little bit of a dig at Leatherman, but either way, I was happy about that because I was going to actually have to buy some Allen wrenches with the security bit wrenches, so I'm glad I don't have to do that now. While we're talking about that, these bits are great because they're full size. They're 1/4 inch, unlike the Leatherman bits that are flat and not 1/4 inch. I love these. They'll work. I can just go to any hardware store and buy replacement bits. That's a great feature because having to buy the bits from Leatherman's website is just a joke because they're not always available. Last thing real quick is the clip on this. It's plastic and you can easily fit it over your belt instead of having to take your belt off or undo your belt to put this on. So I was really happy about that. There's so many more things to talk about why I love this multi-tool, and I will definitely do a longer review on it, but for the moment I definitely like this Bibury and highly recommend it at this point. I can't wait to play with it more and use it. So go out, pick one up, link in the description below. Please like and subscribe to help me grow this channel. Thank you.